like 2023 went by so fast, and now I'm gonna blink and it's gonna be 2024. But because it is the end of the year and the impending new year, I have been doing a lot of self-reflection and trying to put together some goals that I have for 2024, and now I'm going to share them with you. I'm going to start off with some of the more predictable goals that people more regularly make, especially in the book community. So as far as reading goals go, my 2023 reading goal was to read 60 books. Now, I made my 2023 goal obviously in 2022 when I was not reading a whole lot. I had been in a slump for actually a number of months, and so I was kind of picking back up with reading, and I didn't want to go too lofty of a goal, so I set it for 60, and I bypassed my 60 book goal like a couple of months ago. Now, where I'm currently sitting at, I am between 120 and 125, which means by the end of the year I will hopefully have finished 125 books. So I am going to actually keep my goal at 125 for 2024. I don't know if maybe I will be able to read some more, or maybe I will want to go a little bit slower, but I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to make reading feel like an obligation. I do want to still enjoy the act of reading, and there may be some times where I am going to be reading some bigger books, some higher page counts. That can really hurt the quantity of the reading goal, so I don't want to feel like I'm limited by pushing myself too high. If I really, really wanted to have some sort of lofty goal, then I could probably put it at 150, and there's a good chance that I could make it there, but I am going to stick with 125. I know that it's achievable if I keep the pace that I did this year, and even maybe a little bit faster. But again, I don't want to push myself too much and make it feel like reading is a chore, because I do still want to enjoy reading, because I always have enjoyed it, and I've had so much fun over the past year that I really don't want a high number to kind of ruin my perspective on it. And along with my book goal, the only other number goal that I have for 2024 is a subscriber count, which I go back and forth on whether or not I even want to have a subscriber goal, because I'm not doing this to gain subscribers. I'm doing this because I love reading. I love talking to people who love reading. I love books. I love talking about books, and this community has been so amazing. And so I'm not doing this to gain subscribers, although it is nice to have the subscriber number go up, because it does tell me that people are listening, people are interested in what I have to say, and I really, really appreciate that. So I don't want to diminish the importance of growing and gaining more people that I can interact with, but I also don't want that to be the center of all of my goals for the new year. But sitting where I am right now, I just bypassed 300 subscribers, and I'm very excited to have hit that before the end of this year. So for next year, if I wanted to be a low goal setter, I would probably set my goal for maybe 500. But I'm feeling very, very ambitious, and maybe this will be counterintuitive because I just said that I wanted my book goal to be realistic, but I'm going to set a lofty subscriber goal, and that means that I will just be even more excited when I get there, if I get there in 2024. And so my subscriber goal is going to be 1,000 subscribers, which is going to make my brain explode if I get there. But I have been working so hard on coming up with new ideas and even just remembering to share my thoughts on everything as I'm reading. And so I have a lot of really great things planned, and so I'm hoping that it'll pay off by having some more people come along with me on my journey. Speaking of the videos that I have planned for 2024, I really do want to start trying to focus on making more vlogs. I have really enjoyed, over the past couple of weeks, I have been diving a lot more into vlogging and really documenting every book that I'm reading and my thoughts as I'm going. And it's been a lot of fun. I found that I remember a lot more about the book afterwards when I have spent some time thinking about it instead of reading, consuming, and then tossing it to the side and forgetting that I ever read it. So vlogging has been really fun for me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Editing the videos, maybe the enjoyment will come along a little bit more with that, but I really would like to put out at least 2 vlogs per month for the new year. I don't think that's too crazy of a goal. I have been working on a couple of vlogs. I just need to make sure that I can keep my brain organized and all of my clips organized, which I think is the hardest part. But I am really excited to be diving into this goal specifically, because I do feel like vlogging and sharing my thoughts in the moment and letting you see my raw emotion. I've had some very entertaining vlog clips so far this year, I think, of just me fully engaging with the book and the emotions that it's going to bring, and that can come from any genre that I read. So I am just looking forward to being able to share all of that through vlog clips. Along with vlogging, something that I have also really enjoyed this year so far, which I only did like once or twice, but I am a really big movie buff as well as I am an avid reader. And so I think what I want to do for 2024 is try to do a few more book to movie or TV adaptation comparisons, or just engaging with a material that has been adapted, even if it's a movie that has a novelization that came after. I do want to interact more with these kinds of media and just be able to compare those things. I did this with The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes when it came out in the fall, and I really liked doing that video because one, it's a world that I was fully invested in when I was a teenager, and then again now as an adult. But two, because I love movies and being able to kind of piece those things together and see how the book and the movie are similar and differ and how that all relates to the consumer. I just really enjoyed doing that. So I think I want to try to do that a little bit more in 2024. I'm not going to put a number on how often I want to do this, simply because I'm not going to do it if I don't care about the material produced. But I do want to try to work that into my schedule a little bit more than I have so far. I also really want to come up with a new TBR game, and I have some things in the works, but I have a really chaotic TBR because I have a really chaotic reading taste. And if you've been here for any length of time, you've probably figured out that I read a little bit of everything when it comes to fiction. I love fantasy, I love romantic fantasy, I love romance, I love horror, I love thrillers, and I just kind of like getting a little bit of everything every once in a while. And that does make it a little hard to choose my TBR because sometimes I want to focus on fantasy, sometimes I want to focus on romance, and sometimes I want to read literally a different book every single day because they can be so vastly different. And I do find myself sometimes reading multiple genres at the same time. I could be reading a romance on audiobook, but then have a physical copy of a fantasy and then be buddy reading a thriller or something along those lines. And I've really enjoyed that, but it does make selecting my TBR very chaotic because I really am just mood reading all the time because my mood can be so different from one day to the next. So I want to come up with a fun way to engage my chaotic mind and put a TBR together that actually has some semblance of organization. So I don't have all the details worked together yet, but be looking out in 2024 because I do hope to have a TBR game, maybe not for the beginning of 2024, but throughout the year I do want to be able to have something developed and ready to go so that I have a way of looking at my shelves and being able to know exactly what I should be reading next. Another subjective reading goal that I have for 2024 is related to my ability to DNF books. I feel like I never really DNF'd books intentionally until about halfway through 2023. And that's when I first started really deciding, you know what, it's okay if I don't like this book, I'm going to put it down because why waste my time? Especially when you get to a book that it's going to take you like a month to get through because you're dragging your feet and you just don't want to read it. Why read it? So I'm setting a minor goal for 2024 to be DNFing books more often when I feel like I really just don't need to be reading this. There were a couple of books that I DNF'd in 2023, and most of them got 1 stars because they were simply atrocious. However, there were some other DNFs that I didn't have any actual issues with it. It just didn't work for me. It just wasn't something that I was latching onto. And when there are so many other incredible books out there that I want to be trying, I just don't want to be spending my time bogged down by a book that is just not working for me in general when I could be reading something else incredible and could be finding my next 5-star read. So DNFing books I'm hoping is going to come a little bit easier to me. I feel, especially when I get NetGalley arcs, I feel the pressure to finish the book because I need to give it a good review. But I have discovered and have been putting into practice a lot more recently that the whole point of a NetGalley arc is to get early opinions on these books. And if my opinion is that it didn't work for me and I don't want to finish it, then I'm just going to put that in the review and send it off, and that's what I'm going to do. So it's coming a lot easier to me, and I'm trying to push away the guilt of not finishing books when they are just not for me. As far as books that I do want to read, I have 2 intentional goals of how to get through some books that I have on my shelves already. Up on the very top of my bookshelf, I have a large spread of books that I have borrowed from my sisters, my mom, and one of my friends. And these books have been up here for a while, some of them for as long as 4 to 5 years. And honestly, I'm tired of holding them hostage, so I have a goal for 2024 that by the end of the year, all the books that I have up there that I've been borrowing from people are going to be gone. They are going to be back with their original owners, and I will have read them or read and DNF'd them if that's what it comes to, but I am going to actually get through all of them. Some of them are very large and intimidating, and that's why I haven't read them yet, so we're gonna see how this goes, but I am very excited to be reading through all of these, having this goal to not hold books hostage anymore, because I do have that tendency. I know Lexi can tell you that I borrowed one of her books for like a whole year and then I finally gave it back, and it just happens sometimes, and it's okay to happen occasionally, but some of these books have been on my shelf for way too long, and my sister has been very, very generous and patient with me in having her books for like the last 5 years. So that is another small goal that I'm just going to help work through that stack, and it'll just help me know what to put on my TBR, because if they're on that shelf, then they've got to get on my TBR at some point. I have another time-related goal for the books that I want to read. I have signed up for a number of book subscription boxes because I love getting fancy special editions, and I have developed maybe an unhealthy addiction to getting them because they're so pretty. But here's the problem. I get them and then they sit on my shelf because I don't read them. So one of my progressive goals throughout the year is to read my special editions as they come. Now, initially, I want to set the goal to be I read it within the month I get it. Now, that could be a lot of books at times, because some of them all come in at the same time. So I'm going to be flexible with myself on how many I need to read at one time. But in general, I am going to try my very, very hardest to be reading these special editions. If not within the month I get them, definitely like splitting the year in half. Like if I get a book in the first half of the year, I need to read it in the first half of the year, because otherwise, what's the point in getting these really fancy special editions if I don't read them to know if I even like them? That's just an extra special little twist to my year-long TBR, is just making sure that I'm getting through these books as I come across them. And this relates to my reading goal from, I can't remember if it was 2023 or 2022, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I have completely ignored looking at what those goals were because I know I didn't actually attain any of them. So one of my goals in the past couple of years was with the Amazon Prime reading, where you get a free book at the beginning of every month on the Kindle, and I've been doing that for like the last couple of years, and honestly I never read them, and they just keep stacking up and they stack up. Then all of a sudden I am drowning in Kindle books, and honestly I don't want to be there. So my goal is to be reading these books as they come in if I decide to pick them, because on the flip side, if I don't want one of the books, if I don't plan on actually reading it, I'm not going to take it. I feel like I always take books because they're free, and I don't need to be doing that. Just because a book is free does not mean I need to get it. Just because a book is free does not mean I need to get it.
Just because a book is free does not mean I need to get it.
And on the flip side of that, I also need to start limiting myself, not necessarily a book buying ban, but I am going to limit myself on the books that I'm buying, because in 2023, I went to a couple of book festivals or bookstore events, and I walked away with multiple books just because they were discounted. And honestly, I haven't picked up any of them. So I have this partial book buying ban that if it's not a book that I was personally recommended, one that I intentionally want to read or have on my TBR for a specific purpose, I'm not going to be buying it. And I feel like that's going to be really hard to stick to, because the temptation is so real, especially with these Kindle books that are coming in for free, or $1 book sales. They're going to pull me in, but I need to resist the temptation because I am tired of filling my shelves with books that I probably will never, ever read, simply because there are so many other books out there that I'm excited about. And let's be honest, there is not enough time in the day, in the week, in the month, or in the year to read all of the incredible books that are coming out that we actually want to read. So I'm going to be limiting myself in that respect. Not a book buying ban, but I am going to ban myself from buying books that I don't have an actual purpose to read or an intention of actually getting to within the year. And finally, my last goal, and maybe my most important goal for 2024, is that I really would like to be working a lot harder at engaging with more of the book community, both here on YouTube and also Instagram, maybe TikTok. I've never really gotten too much into making TikToks because I'm really bad at it. And even on things like Twitter or Threads, I just want to be able to interact with more people. I have made some incredible, incredible friends who I love dearly so far in the last year and a half. And I am just so thankful for all those people and to be able to talk and have full conversations about how much we love books. Sometimes they are gibberish. Sometimes I'm just sending screaming text messages exploding about how much I loved a book. And honestly, it's one of the best feelings to know that I can express all of that to other people who also love reading. So one of my goals for 2024 is to just be more intentional about interacting with people, maybe broadening the horizons of people that I already talk to, and also deepening the friendships that I have already been able to establish, and just keep building up those friendships, trying even more to support other people because there are so many incredible creators on this platform. I am just so excited to have the opportunity to hopefully interact with some more people. Maybe it's different people, and maybe it's just developing the friendships that I've already established so far, because I know some wonderful people with some really fantastic taste in books. And even if we don't agree on our taste in books, you know what? I still just love talking to everyone, getting to know people, being in Discord channels, and being able to interact one-on-one or even in a group setting on how much we love books. It is so special, and I'm so thankful to even be here. So I really want to take this up another level for 2024 and just keep pouring out, keep interacting with people, making friends, keeping friends, and just having an incredible time with incredible people. For anyone that I have interacted with over the past year, year and a half, however long I've been here, I can't even remember. Honestly, I do want to thank you so much for the interactions that I've had so far. I have really made some incredible memories. I'm excited to keep going into a new year and to be trying new things out, just having a good time reading, losing myself in a book. I'm so excited, and I'm thankful for everyone who's been on this journey with me, and I'm really looking forward to having you come along with me in the future, as well as interacting with other YouTubers. I also wanted to say that I do have an intention of trying to participate in more book clubs in 2024. I feel like sometimes, because of how chaotic my TBR can be, I sometimes put other book clubs kind of to the side, and if I get to them, I get to them. But I really want to be more intentional about reading book club picks and being able to participate in other creators' book clubs, because there are some really wonderful ones out there. And I love what we do with our Pyramid Book Club, so I just want to be able to share that with other people as well, and to participate in other book club discussions. So that is another side goal that I have that goes along with interacting with other people and just being a part of the community even more and participating as much as I can. If you don't want to miss out on my 2024 journey, please don't forget to subscribe so that you can keep up with everything. I have some really exciting videos planned for the new year, and just in general, I have so many ideas running around my head, and I can't wait to put them into practice. And so I really hope that you'll come along with me and talk to me about books. Seriously, if you find me on any of my social medias that I have linked below, feel free to send me a message. We can talk about books. I would love to literally just spew nonsense sometimes. It's a great time, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to follow and subscribe to keep up with everything that I have coming up. As we are coming to the beginning of a new year, let me know in the comments if you have any goals as well. Maybe some of your goals sound kind of similar to mine. I'd love to hear it, and we can cheer each other on as we go, because we are not alone in this book community, and I'm so excited to be going into another calendar year with all of you. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I really hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye!